Hello, how are you today? Welcome to my channel, bestie. So, I'm filming this on my camera and with a little bit of a different background, so if it's weird, sorry. Also, yes, I know my hair looks really weird. I'm washing it tonight, so it looks a little bad, okay? So, it's currently Tuesday, and I started reading yesterday, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. And I'm not going to keep reading this. There was the F slur in this and some other questionable stuff, and I know that this is a lot of people's either favorite or they rave about this book. And yes, this was written in 2011, so it's not as aware as books might now be, but I saw that Ready Player 2 also had some stuff that wasn't that good, so I'm not going to keep reading this. Sorry, but I am still in the sci-fi mood, so also I have my dog bookmark. Look at it, it's so cute. I am going to start another book that I got from Half Price Books, which is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. It is the first book in the Expanse series. This is like as big as my head. It is gigantic. And I think it's only for 500 something, sorry. Yeah, 561. So I was expecting for this to be a lot more than it is right now. Pursue Project is the one who recommended this book. She was talking about some of the best books that she's read, and also I think, or maybe it was just in a reading vlog, I don't know, but I take a lot of her suggestions to heart. So I'm going to start this. I'm also still currently reading Heartless, so that's really fun. But all I know is that this is a space opera and that they're on a ship, and I think each book follows a different person. So that'll be very interesting. I love like very big expansive series. I've never really gotten into one that is a sci-fi one. I've only ever really gotten into fantasy ones. So this will be interesting if I like this to kind of go into a really big series of books and see kind of how that is. It'll also be kind of my first space opera technically. I don't know if A Memory Called Empire counts as a space opera, but this will be like the first one where they're actually living in a ship and traveling through space, because I've read whatever the Brandon Sanderson book is. Sorry, I'm peeling off the sticker if you can hear that noise. And they fight in space in that. This, I think they live in an actual ship. I don't know if they deliver stuff or if they fight people or... Yeah, they do a lot of... Yeah, I'll explain this better when I actually know what it's really about, but... So yeah, that's my reading plans for this week. That's it. See you tomorrow, bestie. Hello. It is the next day. It is Tuesday. I have read none of Heartless. I don't think I even explained what Heartless is. So let me give you a little recap. It's basically, Alice in Wonderland? Yeah, it's that world, except Alice isn't in it yet, and it's the story of the Queen of Hearts and her love interest and kind of how she becomes the Queen of Hearts. She's in the movies, and I think the other books is kind of like this really ruthless person, but in these books she's very, I was gonna say innocent, but I don't think that's like the right word at all to describe it. She's very different from what she is in the movies, where she's like chop off people's heads and all of this stuff. And so I'm guessing we're gonna go down to the reasons why and understand maybe why she has that kind of brutality, or just is the way that she is. But I haven't read any of that. I honestly haven't really been that interested in reading that, so sorry about that. I'm still on page like 102 of that. I really need to try and read more. It's like 400 pages, and last time that I read a 400-page book, it did not go well. So I need to stop doing what I'm doing and actually read it. But anyways, onto the book that I'm actually reading, Leviathan Wakes. Just gonna tell you, still kind of confused at the full concept of it because it's kind of right now a mystery of kind of like a whodunit thing. This book is so big. I it's hard to read it because of how big it is. I don't know if there's a format that's smaller, like if they print it in a smaller format. They probably do. I just got the friggin' gigantic one. I am currently like I think exactly 100 pages in. Yeah, 100 pages in, and then I am on chapter 10, which is Miller. Right now, so in the prologue we followed this spaceship getting taken over, and these people being held captive on that spaceship. And then we cut to Holden, who is a ice. They collect ice for the different spaceships or planets that majority of it is spaceships around, and there's multiple different spaceships and communities that um, are using the glaciers that they're collecting to have water for like a couple years. So they basically just go out, they find asteroids of ice, they harvest that, and they put it into their ship. They find a distress signal of the ship that got taken over, and now they are. They legally have to respond to the ship that is asking for help, otherwise, they can get into some serious trouble. Things don't exactly go as planned when they're going and visiting the ship. Now, I'm only 100 pages in, and we're still figuring out what actually happened to that ship, and also uh, what's going to happen to them because they found the ship. And then the second perspective that we follow is Miller, who is on a space station in Saturn's belt. They're called Belters, and he is a detective. He's trying to figure out this case of this missing girl, and then Holden broadcasts a message about getting attacked, and now the Belters are basically preparing for war against Mars because, like, they think that they're gonna find a way to either blame them or just kind of. They have, I think it is a racial bias. I don't know what if you would call it a racial bias. It might be that, but where basically people from Earth and Mars, they don't like them in the belts because they are constantly trying to take over stuff, trying to overprice stuff, trying to, basically they're just not that good of people, and so you see kind of this competition and this them rearing up for war and stuff, and then these people who are in the political group that are trying to work people up because they believe that they're going to get attacked. So we're following somebody who got attacked and now is trying to discover why and what happened. We're following a detective who's basically on this space station that's having a bunch of rioting and fighting because they think they're about to go to war, and because of these crazy political groups who are trying to make any people who are from Earth or Mars that are on this space station basically enemies of everybody. And then we have him trying to figure out where this missing rich girl has gone. Very interesting, very interesting. I can say so far I like the characters. It's very fun. He has definitely like interactions that I was hoping for, where people are sarcastic and know how to make jokes even in really bad situations. It's like my type of thing because I read a lot of like kind of darker books, and so whenever there's sarcasm and making light of situations that are horrible, or just in situations, making sarcastic jokes like, wow, this is so great, I really like that. His characters so far have been solid, and you have some characters where they have conflicting interests even though they haven't met each other, and he gives two different perspectives of what it's like for somebody who's from Earth and or Mars and served, and then somebody who's a belter, and you kind of see the two. Well, at least one of them has a prejudice against the other, so it's very interesting to see that dynamic because it goes from them thinking that they're doing the right thing, and then the other person being like, "You're not," even though they have no contact with each other. But so far, I'm liking this. Oh, now a Prime original series. Oh, that's right, The Expanse. For some reason, that went way out of my head. I mean, I don't really know how I fully feel about it yet. It's not my favorite, like, writing style, but his characters are definitely really good, and I'm probably going to be really interested in that. So, anyways, I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, when I have, like, a better grip of this book and understanding of the characters and what's actually happening, because it's very fun mystery, but also very, like, dark at the same time. Anyways, talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye. Hello, it's Friday. Listen, I know I look bad. I've looked bad in all of these videos. Maybe I should go back to using my phone because this camera is 2 HD and makes me look absolutely atrocious. Or maybe that's just how I look. Okay, so I can say that this book is basically like a mystery book. It's basically a big, big mystery book. But I read to page 302, which is chapter 31. So much has happened. Our two main characters have now met up, and we're getting more into the mystery and why maybe some people want to do it. And now it's kind of just chaos as of right now, and love it. When I was reading the beginning of the book, it reminded me of a video game, and I was like, oh, what video game that is that? It was Dead Space. I'm not like a gamey what? I'm not a gaming girl. I just watch Markiplier. So that's the only reason I know about that game. But it reminds me of that in some elements. If you've read this book, you understand why. But this does it say on the back that it has this in it? Because I don't want to spoiler it. No, it doesn't say it in there. Okay. Well, let's just say it has one of my favorite things in it. It's oh crazy. I love the politics of war in books and stuff, especially when it is such like a massive universe like this where there's the whole planets and solar like people living in multiple stations around one planet. Like it's just crazy amount of people and political beliefs and systems. It's really good. I don't really know what to say because I think if I say the trope that I'm really loving right now, it's like it's gonna be a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil it. But I can say that I have not read any more of Heartless. In fact, I picked up the second book in the Murderbot Diaries, which is Artificial Condition. I didn't know that there was a free audiobook, which if you want like a fun little sci-fi, like funny, it's kind of, I think it's a comedy just because of the writing, or at least in the first one it kind of felt like that. It definitely is not like, super lighthearted. It definitely has a lot of fight scenes and like intense moments in it, so it's not all just comedy, but it has different it's kind of like a Marvel movie where it has different, it's like very serious, but it's also it has funny moments in it. Like he's right behind me, isn't he? She's not, Martha Well doesn't write like that, thankfully, as far as I've read. It's only like 150 pages, and the audiobook is only like 100, an hour and 50 minutes, so I'm thinking I might just listen to that because it's a free audiobook. Anyways, I will probably finish this up tomorrow. I'll probably do like one more of these in the morning and then one more at night to finish it up, because I still have 236 pages left of the Leviathan Wakes and like 140 something pages left of Artificial Condition. So yeah, I've given myself a tall task, haven't I? I just love doing that. Anyways, bye. Um Oh, so I apparently lied yesterday. I didn't even realize Artificial Condition is 3 hours long. Not that bad for an audiobook, but But basically, I listened to it on 1.5 speed while I was cleaning today. So I just finished it. So let's get into the review of it, I guess. Artificial Condition: The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Well, Book 2 in the Murderbot series. I gave 4 stars to. I will say the first book was kind of like, I don't know. I think I didn't really fall in love with the character in the first book as much as I did with this one. Maybe that's just because I didn't get to spend as much time with the character or have their development, didn't get to see them develop that much. There definitely was character development, but in this, it goes off from like literally right at the end of the second book. It picks up from there, and we kind of get to see how, even though they they're kind of on their own now, they still are dealing with the effects of being a sec unit, which is what they are. A murder bot is basically what they get labeled because they're there to protect humans on trips anywhere. They're supposed to basically security that will kill for them if needed. And this one's different because it hacked its own like uh system, so now it's able to kind of free think on its own. It's very interesting. I love the sarcasm that's in this book. I love any book that has sarcasm. And this has very well written sarcasm. I will say the humor in the first book was not as good. In this one, it was kind of just made my eyes roll in the first one, but this one, I actually got a few laughs out of me, which, whether or not it's good humor doesn't really matter because I really enjoyed it. It's not 5 stars because, there are some things that are not the best out of it, but again, I like just finished it, so I don't have the greatest analysis of it, but I will say definitely enjoyed it more than the first book. Definitely probably going to continue with the rest of the series. I don't know if the other books in this series have like a free Audible thing like that, but if they do, I will probably fly through this series if I'm very honest. But yeah, I this series is a lot of fun if you're looking for something that's sci-fi, has comedy, and it's from a robot perspective. This is for you. It's perfect. I love it so far. I'm interested to see what the other books in the series are like because while the you have the main plot of them basically like either protecting people or going on these missions, the side plot is kind of them trying to figure out what happened and why they hacked into their system and why they're able to think like this, and why they are like this at all. And it's very interesting because you get to learn along the way, but it's not completely solved in each book, so it kind of leaves you with the mystery, so you want to keep reading and understand why that thing is happening. Very cool. Leviathan Wakes. I am on page 400 of that, so I have like 136 to read today. Hopefully, I will be able to talk to you later tonight. We'll see. Maybe I'll to finish this up on Sunday, but I'm really hoping that I don't. But yeah, that also has a very good sarcasm in it. There's some jokes that I'm like, they're kind of more creepy than they are funny. He just talks about the male anatomy a lot, so that's just personally not my favorite type of humor. But what do I even have to say? We're now on a mission again, and we kind of it's not fully concluded the mystery of why everything is happening yet, but we've learned a ton more than what we were on page 300. So I'm really hoping it kind of ties up in this book, but at the same time, I don't know how the other books are going to go, unless it's following a completely different, like, person and crew and story, which kind of makes me sad because I loved this crew and the characters in this, and so I'm kind of hoping that it follows a different person in the crew and not like somebody completely differently in their perspective during this war. that's just me personally. Maybe that's exactly what it is, but I'm having a lot of fun reading this book, and so far it's just been a pretty good reading week, which makes me very happy. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later when I finish Leviathan Wakes. Ooh, hello. It is Saturday night, so I actually finished both books today. I know, crazy, weird, unexpected for me. I finished Leviathan Wakes, the first book in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. Um, I gave it 4 stars. It was very close to being 5, maybe even like 4.5 stars. It's so good. It's like I was wanting kind of a break from fantasy, and this absolutely gave me that, and I'm sad that the other books don't follow these same characters because I fell in love with him so much because he's incredible at building characters that um you can love and hate at the same time, and they're actually complex and not just all one-sided, and the relationships that grow throughout the book are actually interesting and you actually want to see where they go, and it's not just, something that you kind of are forced to read to get through the get to the exciting action stuff. It's actually like you care about these characters so much, or at least I do, and I love it so much. um I don't know when I'll be picking up the second or third book in this because they're a decent price on Amazon, so I might have to go on like Pango Books or something to try and find it. Dead Space, it's definitely like Dead Space. If you know, you know. It's like another book that I have on my shelf that if I say that the ending was like that ending, that it's probably going to spoil it for somebody who knows that book's ending. So I'm not going to say it. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. We did get to a kind of shocking conclusion of this story, and the way that he set up the ending, I really loved because you kind of you don't at all guess what's gonna happen, which is really nice. It's like a shocking ending that you kind of absolutely, at least I wasn't expecting. And the kind of setup for it when you look at what's that called when somebody sets up like they'll keep mentioning something throughout the book and then later on you learn that it's actually more involved in it than you thought. I always love that because it's always like you think it's going to go one way and then it doesn't because of this little clue that's in there. I absolutely adored the ending. I also hated it a little bit because of what happens to a character, but I don't really know how else you would end that story, and it's so good. Again, really sad that we're not going to be following these characters, but at the same time, it's kind of their story as so far is kind of wrapped up. Until another issue happens, but and there was setup for that, which makes me wonder why he is writing about completely different characters, or maybe I'm completely wrong, and he isn't writing about completely new characters. They're actually all connected or something. I don't know, but the setup for a sequel with these characters has been set up, but I can also see how it's setting up for different characters to come in, which I also really love and appreciate the fact that he's not just like tying up all the loose ends in one book, because whether or not he knew that this was going to be a series or whether he just kind of wrote it as a one-off, either way it would have been a satisfying thing. It would have kept me wondering what would happen, but it also has enough of a conclusion that it leaves you satisfied, and it's really good. I keep saying that's really good. This has been a week of sci-fi for me, and so I've been very happy. I've had some not so good meetings with sci-fi in the past, and this was just 10 out of 10, like a good sci-fi week for me. So yeah, I would highly recommend Leviathan Wakes. It definitely has sarcasm and deals with some darker topics, so look those up if look up trigger warnings and stuff for there's certain stuff that's brought up in it that might affect some people, but it definitely does have cutting sarcasm and some dry characters who just, oh, I adore them so much. But yeah, so far, good book. I can understand why the series is loved so much so far. Um, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. So, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll see if I do this next week, have this nice of quality next week. Probably not because I'm lazy. Anyways, goodbye. See you later, bros. Brosivs.